Lesson 169. By grace I live. By grace I am released.
Hi there! Do you want to discover the transformative power of grace, and how it can release you from fear and hate? Well, let's dive right in.
By grace I live. By grace I am released.
Grace is an aspect of God's love. It is the nearest reflection of the state that prevails in the unity of truth. We all aspire to experience grace, as we all aspire to experience the love of God. It will lead us beyond the world entirely. Grace cannot be learned, and yet it is the goal of learning. To receive grace, we must prepare our mind to accept it. Grace becomes inevitable once we've prepared a clean, pure place within our hearts, an inviting table, a holy altar where grace can gently land, be welcomed, and accepted. Grace is the acceptance of the love of God in a world that always seems full of hate and fear. With grace alone, hate and fear are gone, because grace is a state so opposite to everything the world contains, that those of us who have been given the gift of grace cannot believe the world of fear is real. Grace cannot be learned, because the final step is beyond any teaching. Grace is not the goal of A Course in Miracles, and yet, we can prepare for grace by opening our mind to hear the call to waken. We don't close our mind to the voice of God. Our mind understands that there are things it doesn't know, and this way, it's ready to accept a state completely different from the experience it is familiar with. You might feel there's a contradiction in the Course when it says that the revelation of the oneness of the Father and the Son is already set. But remember, it's the mind that determines when this revelation will occur, and it already has. And yet we're encouraged to bear witness to the Word of God to speed up this experience of truth, and its advent into every mind that recognizes truth's effects on us. Oneness is simply the idea that God is. God is, and in His being, He encompasses all things. No mind holds anything but God. We say,
God is.
And then we stop speaking, because in that knowledge, words become meaningless. In this state, our mind has united with its source, and like the source, it merely is. We cannot talk about this state, we cannot write about it, and we cannot even think about it at all. It comes to every mind when it fully acknowledges that its will is one with the will of God. Our mind returns into the endless present, where the past and future cannot be conceived. It's a state that lies beyond salvation, beyond all thought of time, forgiveness, and the holy face of Christ. The Son of God merely disappears into His Father, and His Father in Him. The world has never been at all, and all that remains constant is eternity. This state of oneness is beyond what A Course in Miracles is trying to teach. However, forgiveness, which we teach and learn, brings us experiences that show us that the time for revelation is now at hand. We are not rushing it, because what we will offer was hidden from God who teaches us what forgiveness means. All learning is already complete and accomplished in the mind of God. He recognized all that time holds, and gave it to each mind to decide, from a point beyond time, when it will be the time for revelation and to embrace eternity. We have already seen it before and it has been repeated to us several times. We're just making a journey that's already done. Because oneness must be here. Whatever time our mind has set for the revelation is entirely irrelevant to what is the truth of a constant state that is forever as it always was, and forever will remain as it is now. We're just playing our parts in the grand script of salvation, written by the Creator and the Son. Let's reiterate this concept: no one in the world can truly understand it. Only when revelation of our oneness comes, we will know and fully understand. Now we have work to do, because those who live in time can speak of things beyond, and listen to words that explain that what is to come is past already. But how can these words make sense to them who measure time in hours and live their day by them? So, just remember, we have work to do to play our part. We cannot know the ending until our part is done. But it doesn't matter. Because our part is still what all the rest depends on. As we take the role assigned to us, salvation comes a little closer to everyone whose heart that does not beat yet in tune with God. Forgiveness is the central theme that runs throughout salvation, holding all its parts in meaningful relationships, and guiding its path towards its certain outcome. And now, we ask for grace, the ultimate gift that salvation can give us. When we experience grace, time will end, because grace will give us a hint of heaven. This will not replace the thought of time, just for a little while. But that short while will suffice. It is here that miracles are given to us to be shared, through our experiences of grace, to all who see the light that shines from our faces. What is the face of Christ if not the reflection of the unity he felt in an instant that he went into timelessness to bless the world? How can we reach this unity forever, while a part of you remains outside, unknowing, unawakened, and in need of us as witnesses to the truth? Let's be grateful to come back, as we were glad to go, even for just an instant, and let's accept the gifts that grace has given us. Let's take them back with us. Revelation stands not far behind. Its coming is certain. Let's ask for grace and for the experience that comes from grace. Let's welcome the release it offers everyone. We are not asking what we cannot ask, and we do not look beyond what grace can give. For this, we can extend the grace that has been given us.
By grace I live. By grace I am released.
By grace I live. By grace I am released.
By grace I live. By grace I am released.
Isn't that astounding? Has the understanding of our role, our work, and our destination on this journey ever been so clear? You're doing great. Keep up the good work, and see you tomorrow for another powerful lesson.
If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like and leave a comment. Thanks. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. There's a new lesson every day.